So for our company update section, we get to hear from Jeff Baker, Vice President and Business Lender at Craft3. Come on up, Jeff. While he heads up here, I'll give you a little bit of background. Craft3, that's a regional nonprofit community development financial institution. They make loans to strengthen the economic, ecological, and family resilience in Oregon and Washington. Since 2017, Jeff Baker has been responsible for generating and underwriting new mission-based commercial loans focused on small to medium-sized businesses, primarily those owned by women, immigrants, veterans, and entrepreneurs of color. Well, that's pretty cool stuff. Jeff, tell us what you've been up to.
That was kind of a mouthful, so I'm not going to go there. I am going to tell you this, though. My daughter was in a play, Missoula Children's Theater. You ever heard of that? She got a big part, first time ever as an actor. And of course, first time, she totally nails like every line. She's 10 years old, it's ridiculous. So as I'm heading out the house today, I go, do you have any advice? I got to speak in front of a bunch of people. She goes, well, are you prepared? And I go, well, it's not like a play. I know what I'm going to say, but it's, I don't have a speech. She goes, oh, so you're not prepared. She goes, isn't the draft tonight? And I go, yeah. She goes, oh, and you're missing the draft. You better wear some cool shoes. That was her advice. Thanks. So as Kurt said, I work for Craft3, and we are what's called a CDFI, a Community Development Financial Institution. And that's a lot of words, and we do a lot of stuff. But to easily kind of like break it down is, my company is Oregon-based, but we lend in Washington and Oregon. And really what we try to do is find gaps in financing and under-lent to populations and communities. And really what that looks like is, you have equity on one side, and then you have debt on the other. And right in the middle, that's kind of our niche. Taking companies that can't qualify necessarily for traditional bank financing yet, financing them as debt in the hopes that in 2 to 5 years that they'd be ready for bank financing. So rather than go into all the metrics and all the things that we do, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the deals that we've closed recently and kind of give you some fun examples of why I absolutely love my job. And as most of you who know me, like every deal is like the most important deal. So here we go. First deal of the year for us was a company or a group called Beulah's Place. Anybody familiar with that? Yeah, Beulah's Place. So Andy Berger is the executive there, and they wanted to buy some real estate in Redmond. And this is just kind of one of those weird one-off scenarios where they wanted to buy real estate to do a homeless shelter for at-risk teens. A lot of people don't know that this Highway 97 is a major thoroughfare for runaways, sexually exploited children, really bad stuff. And she has been involved in this for, I think, 12 years now. And they wanted to buy a facility to actually have their own. Well, it's a nonprofit, so that's traditionally hard. Secondly, they're in the middle of a capital campaign, so that can't be paid out by just operating income. So how the heck do you repay it? Well, we structured a deal. Oh, by the way, it was a facility that had been vacant for 5 years because it's a single-use facility as a public use building. So you have to have the perfect borrower, the perfect time, and be able to do it, and it's not bank financeable. We found a way, which is really cool. So we did that in January. Guys like coffee? All right. A Native American-owned women's business called Java Jungle down in the South End. She does a coffee stand. There's gonna be a new one up in Lowe's here pretty soon. She's just over a year in business. And so that doesn't really qualify for traditional bank financing. Profitable, great, well-run business. We just did that one. Swimming lessons. Anybody got kids? All right. This was a referral from my good friend Taylor at Columbia, so thank you. Seahorse Academy, if anybody has ever heard of it. She is the preeminent, as I understand it, trainer for swim lessons. She is opening a facility right by Planet Fitness for an indoor pool. So your kids can go year-round swimming. You don't have to be in these massive crowds at Universe Swim like my kids were forced to go through. But really fun. But again, that one is kind of a startup, but the collateral wasn't there because all it is a pool, and I can't repossess that. But it's awesome. Projection-based financing, it all made perfect sense to us. Again, women-owned business. Here's one. I just did a hemp farm. Yeah. How many think anybody finances hemp farms? Well, as of December 2018, the federal government deregulated it and said it's now a commodity. So that's great. Banks are still regulated and unable to do it at this time. I know they're pushing for it. It makes sense. But Craft 3 has a food and ag sector strategy. And we said, you know, this is an issue. These guys need to obtain financing. And this particular deal was over on the eastern side of the state. A cattle farmer looking to diversify. It tripled their bottom line, just to be honest. I mean, the numbers that we're putting out, it made sense. But unfortunately, this farmer, when they pay their taxes, they have to bring cash into a special booth at the state of Oregon to pay because they can't obtain traditional financing or deposit accounts yet. So again, it's a gap, right? So that's what Craft 3 does. Just did a taco truck. Yes. Love that. And every time I had to visit and take docs, I got tacos and brought it back. Hispanically owned family, multi-generational. Grandma makes the tortillas. Wanted to buy the food truck. They were leasing it. Only a year in business, but you know they were profitable. Made a lot of sense to us. Current deals working on. It's in Redmond. Yeah. So. It's really good. It hasn't closed yet, so I can't really say which one it is yet, but it's gonna. We do big deals, we do small deals. Some of these deals are smaller deals. Usually we don't go under 50,000, but I do make exceptions. I've currently got a deal at 5.5 million though. So we scale and we look to see what the need is. I've done a yoga studio. I'm doing a mobile home park in Prineville. You know, for us, it's what's the need. Is there job creation? Is there family resilience? You know, obviously there's housing crisis is an issue. This, you know, is going to be able to serve low to moderate income families in a depressed economy out there in Prineville. So anyway, those are some of the deals. I don't think we do questions, right? Do we do questions? You want to MC that?
How about we do some questions?
Anything? Anybody?
We got one over here, Don. Hold on, he wants to hear a little bit more about the work in affordable housing.
So yes, and yes, you do know that because you and I have sat on a couple of meetings before. So our work in affordable housing is kind of a little bit limited and a little bit spotty. Although Craft 3 understands the massive need, not only in the state, but the whole Northwest as a whole, as a CDFI, which there are many, if you do just affordable housing, that is all you're going to do because it's just going to be a massive deal. For Craft 3, what we've decided to do is two things. This year we're coming out with an ADA or ADU product, which is accessory dwelling unit. So if you have a lot big enough and you want to put like a mother-in-law or a rental behind, you know, basically creating density within the city limits, we're trying to figure out how to do that, mostly in Portland and Seattle, but it'll roll out eventually. The other one that's really, really kind of cool, and we're very proud to try to get going, and it's still in development, but we're going to do it, is a manufactured home replacement. And that is going to be really low cost, subsidized, low interest rate, replacing homes prior to June, what's the number, bankers, June 1st, 1976, pre-HUD, right? So because those families usually can't replace them. There's a reason they're that old. So we're doing things. We're not the big dog in that arena in the Northwest, though.
Nice. Other questions? Aaron.
How do people learn about Craft 3?
Let me repeat that for the other room. How do we learn more about Craft 3?
Well, you come to events like PubTalks and hear me speak. Craft3.org is our website. I'm on there. You can reach out to me. You know, as far as referrals and who do you speak to, we are a part of the economic system here just as much as the bankers, just as much as the capitalists, just as much as the referral and networking groups like Bend to X, like the SBDC, others out there. So if you're going to talk to a financial advisor or person and they don't know about us, they should. Maybe you should point them in our direction. But one of the things that we do is that if you're not a good fit for Craft 3, we try to find where it would be. So we don't want to compete against banks. We don't want to compete against equity. That's not our job. Our job is to find the gap. So, we try to play really nice in the sandbox.
Oh, Kurt, what's your question? Will you fund me with a really cool pair of red Vans?
I'm keeping the red ones, but I do have a maroon one. So yeah, your size 11, we're good.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, great job.